Albury teachers walked off the job in droves today, calling for better pay and working conditions. It's the first time in 25 years public and Catholic school educators have united and taken industrial action.
Teachers are angry and determined to be heard.
Stand up, fight back!
More than 300 walked off the job in Albury today in what's been described as the most difficult term anyone can remember.
Teachers are absolutely furious. I've gone into so many classrooms this year so far and have not seen so many teachers in tears at their desk. One has since quit. The workload is absolutely crushing.
They're demanding better pay to help attract more people to the profession. The state government's offered a 3% increase.
We've seen New South Wales come out with a 3% wage policy, which is one of the highest across the nation. That compares to 1.5% in Victoria.
But teachers say it doesn't come close to the rate of inflation at 5.1%.
Unfortunately, the only action that the Perrottet government wants to take is legal action against teachers, not action against the teacher shortage. And that's incredibly frustrating, and it's disingenuous to tell the community that everything's fine when they know that it's not.
It's the first time in 25 years public and Catholic school teachers have marched together with a united voice, fighting for better pay and working conditions.
We are burning out. We do not have enough time to do our job. There aren't enough teachers around and the pay does not reflect what we do.
And crippling teacher shortages mean students aren't getting the education they deserve.
Everyone that has a child in education should be concerned about the conditions. Classes aren't being covered, teachers are burnt out, the morale is really low.
Yeah, and it's a system that's not getting fixed at the moment. It's getting worse. We can see that it's getting worse and something has to change.
Inga Neilsen, WIN News.
A 40-year-old Wangaratta woman has been killed at an Everton caravan park overnight. Inga Neilsen has the story.
It's understood the victim died while visiting a cabin here at the Everton Caravan and Holiday Park. Emergency services were called to the park on the corner of White Post Road just after 7, following reports a woman had been fatally injured. Crews tried to revive the woman but were unsuccessful. Everton locals say they're shocked by the events in their small town.
Sort of makes your hair stand up a bit. We're not used to this.
Heaps of phone calls about it to find out what happened.
Forensic and homicide squads continued their investigations at the park this afternoon after a man known to the woman was taken into custody last night.
The border North East was battered with wild weather overnight. Hailstones the size of golf balls left a trail of destruction as rescue crews brace for more severe weather tonight and into tomorrow.
Wodonga and Wangaratta residents initially thought last night's wild weather was far more sinister.
It honestly sounded like gunshots because they were so sporadic and the noise was like bang, bang.
Hail the size of golf balls battered the border and North East. Remnants of last night's spectacle, a reminder of the damage.
So there's a few cracks and damage, about 4 spots. So I'm going to have to replace the whole thing. Be about $280 for the windscreen, so that's a little bit painful.
Wangaratta was among the worst hit. Many homes are still without power. Roads were transformed to rivers, others covered in melting white slush.
Predominantly we're seeing building damage from hail and lightning. We're also seeing a few trees down over roads and those sort of hazards as well.
Local SES crews are busy filling sandbags as they brace for the worst. Wild weather's set to thrash the border and North East again tomorrow before easing into the weekend.
Tidy up the yard, make sure the gutters are clean, so you're not going to get flooding. And if you're out on the road, just make sure that you don't drive through floodwaters.
I've had flood experience in the past and I want to make sure I'm not going to have it again.
Inga Neilsen, WIN News.
The Border's emergency departments are so overcrowded, patients are being treated in corridors and ambulance bays. It's prompted calls for immediate action and a master plan for a new hospital to be released.
The plan for a new border hospital will remain behind closed doors. Farrer MP Susan Lees requested a copy of the master plan, but today that was denied by the Victorian government.
I'm disappointed.
I'm actually bewildered and angry because it's a simple request. It's about transparency and decision making for the people of Albury and Wodonga who desperately need a better hospital system.
Ms Lee was told the document's still in draft form, but described the knockback as a middle finger to the border's health needs. The Andrews government says it's invested $6.3 million in hospital upgrades.
I was told in the third quarter of last year that the draft was becoming final. For this excuse to be rolled out 6-7 months later clearly tells me there's blatant politicking going on.
The stalemates prompted calls for all levels of government to come to the table. The push comes amid claims of a severe bed shortage riddling the hospital's emergency department. We News understands some patients have been forced to access treatment in the back of ambulances parked outside the ED or in the facility's corridors.
Clearly, that's a dangerous situation. Clearly, it means that if people are being treated in ambulances outside the hospital, they're not getting the optimum care that they require, and it means that those ambulances are not available for other people who need them.
The medical professionals we are working with through Border Medical Association are saying that the challenges remain, and they will remain until the pressure valve is alleviated.
Albury-Wodonga Health says it's experiencing high demand, but is urging people not to delay care. Inga Neilsen, We News.
Builders and tradies are ramping up their security measures following a rise in trailer and tool thefts across the border. Police have described the crimes as low acts, which put livelihoods at risk.
A construction site's a landmine for hungry thieves, with thousands of dollars worth of tools and equipment up for grabs. Recent robberies have left tradies concerned they could be next.
It's how you make your money with your tools. If you don't have them, you don't really have a job and you can't do the job correctly. So it's a massive part of your life if you are a tradie.
It's prompted many to ramp up security measures. Surveillance companies say they've noticed an uptick in demand.
It's definitely increased as of late. You just got to make sure all your tools are all sort of locked up. I've had a fair few inquiries about security systems.
It's come to that sort of point where you do need security systems just to protect your workplace and your trailer and utes and that from getting products stolen.
From home cameras to GPS devices and Apple AirTags, tradies are going to extreme measures to keep their belongings safe. Tradies are even using big brand apps to help keep their equipment safe. Milwaukee's One Key allows them to track their tools and even lock some items so they're unusable if stolen. While the theft rates declined across Victoria, Wodonga and Ballarat are on the rise. We're again reminded to keep our valuables out of sight.
And I think the thieves that are doing it are low and they're preying on young people, and I think they'd hate it themselves. What we encourage everyone to do is look after your own assets, take every step you can to look after those assets.
Inga Neilsen, We News. A shameless thief remained on the run after swiping more than $6,000 worth of gold chains from Wodonga jewellers.
We've been here 70 years. Mum and Dad started in 1951 and we've never had anything like this happen ever, and I wouldn't wish it upon anybody.
Security footage reveals the man in a white t-shirt and denim shorts entering the high street store on Tuesday afternoon. Seconds later he flees with a tray worth $30,000. Owner of the jewellery store, David McWaters, says the thief snatched the chains while acting as a customer.
It worries you. It's just very disappointing. Just something you wouldn't wish upon anyone.
He says he chased after the man and in a scuffle the perpetrator dropped most of the jewellery. Police say investigations are continuing. It comes as a spate of car thefts on both sides of the border have police hunting for answers. They say Wodonga's train station car park and those parked outside homes in Barranduda are being targeted.
The stolen vehicles can be used for further offending. We suggest that the people responsible for these matters are local to the border, and I'm sure someone in the community has some information that could assist investigators.
Officers are investigating whether a burnt-out ute with Victorian number plates in Springdale Heights is linked. Inga Neilsen, We News.